Draco was beaming with excitement, like a kid on his birthday. It was a day of his and Harry's wedding, and he couldn't wait. He got out of bed, took a shower, and dressed into the tux he bought last weekend with Harry. He went to the living room, but when he saw Harry there, he quickly stepped back behind the door. Harry noticed it, chuckled, and almost pressing his lips against the door, said, "Babe, why are you hiding from me? Nervous or what? It's a bad manner to see each other before the wedding." "All right, honey, see you there. I gotta go now." Harry chuckled, closing his eyes, walking out and out the front door. He got in their group big black car and drove off. Neville was the driver, and Jane was supposed to be the checkup person, but instead she locked herself in her room and cried. Draco's heart hurt not to feel Harry beside him or see him, but he knew the pain would eventually be worth it. Then, for some reason, he had a weird thought. He is only 17 years old, and he was already going to have a child this year, and he was getting married. Was this even normal? He always considered 28 an appropriate age for marriage, and 32 for starting a family. Was it worth it? He shook the thought off. Of course it was worth it. He wanted this, and there was no turning back now. His life had changed so much, it was just so crazy. Maybe it was insane to say so, but it was even crazier than himself. He stood in front of the mirror, thinking of his life so far and how he was going to raise his kids. He used the spell he always used to hide his now big stomach, and went out of the door. Neville had already returned and was ready to fetch Draco. Draco climbed into the car beside Neville and looked out the window for the entire ride. "Big day, huh?" "Yeah, I'm worried. What if something goes wrong?" "Come on, Draco, what could possibly go wrong? You and Harry are a perfect couple. You're expecting a child, and we are all equipped with magic wands to defend you and ourselves." "But we're not allowed to use magic, aren't we? I mean, I had to sign at least 3 contract parchments to be able to use the pregnancy hiding spell." "So did we, but for defensive magic." "Oh, wow. Impressive and thoughtful." Neville smiled and took a sharp turn to a beautiful park. There, from the car, they could see a big white heavy book stand, a big white sheet of cloth hanging above it. It was clipped onto big white detailed carved marble poles encrusted with diamond roses. A long carpet led from the car to the white stand, where Harry already stood. All their friends and Draco's family already sat on great diamond rose-encrusted benches, and they were all facing him. At the side stood a table with a big wedding cake and other treats. It was humongous, long and surrounded by dozens of beautiful white, stuffy, comfy chairs. Neville got out of the car with a pillow on which lay 2 beautiful golden rings with, obviously, 2 diamond roses. Draco's name was on Harry's ring, and Harry's name was on Draco's. Everything was beautiful, and looked so expensive. Draco climbed out as well, looking hot as hell. His tattoos really embellished him well, his blonde with black tips hair looking good and hot. Draco looked to his side, and Lucius was standing there, offering him a hand. Draco was utterly surprised, as he called his father a few days ago to tell him everything from start to end, from when he fell in love with Potter since the Love Potions class, and that he was pregnant and engaged. He asked him if he would walk him down the lane, as Draco was apparently the girl between the two. He remembered Lucius being surprisingly accepting, but saying that he would think about it, and didn't call back. Draco took his father's hand, who was now smiling proudly at his son. Inside Lucius' head, he wasn't really happy that Draco was gay, and that he found out about everything only a few days ago. He wasn't happy Draco fell in love with a Potter, Neither was he pleased that Draco was moving on so fast at such a young age. But he decided to make at least one thing in his son's life right, and made the right choice. Lucius walked Draco down the lane towards Harry. He led him there, let go of his fragile son's hand, and stepped over to the side next to Narcissa, who was wiping her tears away with a snow-white handkerchief. Draco took his place in front of Harry, who was beaming at him encouragingly. It was time for the speeches, and Harry was ready and prepared with his. He took a deep breath and spoke. "Draco, I remember when I first met you. You were a complete opposite of me. A perfect, proud Malfoy, always trying to get on my Potter nerves and get my ass in trouble. You were confused and didn't know what path to take. You were manipulated and used. All of a sudden, in Love Potions class, we fell for each other ever so quickly. And now we're here. Before me, I still see a very courageous Slytherin, perfect Mr. Malfoy, as I used to call you. But I would be honored to call you Mr. Potter for the rest of my life, if you would let me to do so. I wanted this a lot, and this is because I love you, Draco. Be my love for the rest of my life." Everyone awed and clapped quietly, awaiting Draco's speech. Draco found it hard to say the first words, as he simply just wanted to cry of happiness. Harry's speech melted his heart, and he wanted nothing else. But he pulled himself together, forced back the tears, and spoke. "I love you too, Harry. You have no idea how much this all means to me. You are a very special kind of person I never had in my life. You are very loving, caring, funny, interesting, encouraging, supporting, handsome, and many other things. I've been crushing on you since third year, and tried to help and get your attention as best as I could. Apparently, that didn't really work out as well as the war started. Now that it is over, I can finally walk over to the right side and be with the person I love and care for the most. That person is you, Harry, and no one else. You are the reason I don't give up on life and keep going." Everyone clapped, and this time Harry was the one to fight his emotions. The two men couldn't stop smiling as they stood before each other, waiting to get to the next step of the staircase towards their marriage. The priest by the heavy book stand opened the book at the right page and read out his own speech, addressing to each boy at a time. "We have all gathered here today to celebrate the marriage of this lovely couple. These two have been through a lot in their life and finally found each other. Harry Potter, do you agree to take Draco Malfoy under your own surname?" "I do." "Do you agree to love, treasure, and dedicate your life to him?" "I certainly do." The priest turned to Draco, who was doing a good job at holding himself back from jumping on the spot. "Draco Malfoy, do you agree to take Harry Potter's surname and become his loyal and loving husband?" "Most certainly, yes." "Do you agree to spend your life with him in peace and loyalty, become a family, and share your love with him?" "I do." Neville, being the best man, brought up the soft pillow with two gorgeous rings on it. He stood between Draco and Harry, holding out the pillow towards them. The two took the rings and put them on each other's fingers, counting down seconds until the final step. "You may kiss," announced the priest, and Neville walked out of the big frame. Harry took Draco's fragile and soft hands. He put them up to his heart, pulling the blonde closer. His hair was bright pink, and his eyes were a shiny, loving marble red. He pulled Draco into a loving kiss, which spread love through both of them. This was it. They were now married, and life was almost complete. There was still a child to give birth to and raise. Everyone stood up and cheered loudly. Lucius looked proudly at his son's manners and clapped in his rich man way slowly. Narcissa, on the other hand, was beating her hands raw, tears streaming out of her eyes. The two boys turned around and walked down the red carpet lane, hand in hand. White rice was thrown to them, along with shiny white rose petals and glitter. They walked over to the table along with others and took 2 head seats at the top of the table. After they opened their presents, which were amazing, they had their cake and shared the many hugs and compliments from friends and family. They were exhausted, but utterly happy. Harry? Yes, love? Thank you for everything. I love you so damn much. This is the best day of my life, honey. I love you too. I'm so happy we're finally able to bind ourselves together without being judged. I could scream to the whole world that you are mine and prove it with the ring if I had to. Draco smiled and kissed his husband. Everything was going to be good now.